everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Carvel Community Meeting. If you're watching this from home as a recording, we encourage you to come join us live. According to this agenda, it says we meet every Thursday at 10:30 a.m., but from now until maybe January, February of 2022, we're going to be meeting every first and third Thursday of the month. That's just as things slow down. We're just giving some people some time, acknowledging that not everybody can be here, et cetera, et cetera. So just giving a little bit more time in between meetings. And so we'll still meet at the same time, but every first and third Thursday at this point. And then we'll let you know whenever that changes. If you want to join us live, we encourage you to come bring a discussion topic. If you have anything you wish to discuss with the team, anything you need help with, you can put that down at the bottom of the agenda here. If you want to come and listen in and just meet the maintainers, you're welcome to do that as well. You don't necessarily have to have a discussion topic. You can provide feedback as well on anything that the team is working on. We would like to get to know you and meet folks from outside of the maintainers and learn more about you. So we encourage you to come and join us. If you aren't able to ever make it to a meeting and you still want to engage with us or anybody else in the community, you can find us in the Carvel channel and the Kubernetes Slack workspace. If you aren't a member of that workspace, you can simply request an invitation to gain access. You can find us also on Twitter at Carvel_dev. And at any point you're interacting with any of us or anybody in the community, please read and abide by our code of conduct. Next up, if you are using any of the Carvel tools, we'd love to know more about how you are using them. We have a pinned issue here, and we just ask that you put a comment in here naming any organization you work for, website, all the details regarding that, and the use case that you have with any of the Carvel tools. We utilize this information to help us understand how people are using Carvel, help us maybe improve the product itself, just get to know really how others are using it. And if you would like, you can put your logo within this comment and we can add it to the adopters page for some promotion of your organization. When you attend the meetings, we ask that you put your name here in the attendees section. It just helps us keep track of those that are attending these meetings and keep those lines of communication open. Next up, announcements. So like I said at the beginning, community meeting is going to move to every first and third Thursday until early 2022. We will keep you updated on that. We are also going to send out a survey regarding this community meeting so that we can understand what you want to hear more of or see more of, what you want us to stop doing, anything like that. So please, when that survey comes out, we'd love for you to fill it out and hopefully we can get improvements made on the community meeting for 2022. We have a couple of releases here. We have SecretGen Controller. Anybody able to go over this release?
I can talk about that one real quick. So actually I lied. I made the change and I don't remember what we did. Oh yeah, okay. So it used to be that if you had so this is all about star exports, which means SecretGen exporting a secret to all namespaces. Thanks, Nancy. So it used to be that once there's a star export, that every placeholder secret in the cluster would get that those credentials copied into it. And somebody said, hey, what if like basically that means that somebody can, even if they have a very little permissions, they can just have one namespace that they have access to, and they can just make a placeholder secret in that namespace, and they're going to get every star export, every wildcard export on the whole cluster. That feels like a security hole. And so, we're basically like, yo, I hear you, Swiss cheese model. Let's like put another layer to block that particular hole. So if you have a user who cannot edit the annotations on their own namespace, then you can put an annotation. Well, I mean, even if they can't, but anyways, the point is you can put an annotation on the namespace that blocks that any secret in that namespace from receiving those wildcard star exports. So as long as your user can't remove that annotation, because if they can, then like they've just aligned the holes in the Swiss cheese once more. But as long as they can't, then you've blocked that secret exfiltration. And so we've made it one tiny increment more secure. That's the SecretGen 07X series. 070 had a small bug in secret imports, which Daniel Helfand very kindly fixed. So we in good conscience, we can only recommend 071.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. And I really could go for some Swiss cheese now. Okay, image package O.23.
Hello. So on this new release, we fixed 2 bugs that were found and made some bumps on some dependencies. Basically, the bugs that we were talking here about is when you copy a tar file, a bundle that comes in tar file into the registry, we were not creating an images location translation information, so that was causing some problems, and this was fixed. And the other issue was that when image package always tries to mount images from one repository to another in the same registry. The problem is that maybe you need different credentials for both registries. And what was happening was that when you were trying to mount it, you provide the destination credentials, and the destination credentials sometimes do not have access to read the other repositories. So basically, this was causing some errors when you were trying to copy images from one repository in one registry to a different repository in the same registry. So what we did now is we make sure that the credentials used to write on the registry, write on the destination, can also read the origin. And if they can't, we don't even try to mount it. So we added like an extra layer to make sure that those didn't happen. We also had some typos, and Nicholas C. Miller did help us out on our template. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Joelle. And thanks, Nick. Appreciate the help. Okay, next up we have YT38 coming later today. Carrie, you want to give us a little bit of what to expect there?
Yeah, so this is going to be the release where exporting a YTT data value schema as an open API document will be supported. So if you have a data values file, you can make some quick changes to turn it into a data values schema file. Check out the docs on the website. There's a handy guide for that. And then you can just use that data value schema file to export it as an open API document, which can be used for documentation purposes. It can be used in a kapp-controller package. There's a value schema section there that accepts an open API v3 document. So that's the main thing. There's also some awesome, there's a bug fix for the way that data value schema works with any type. There's a bug fix for the way that we parse percentage signs. And then we also got a community contribution from Rashad K. to fix some documentation. So lots of exciting changes in this release. Keep an eye out, should be here soon. And
That, sorry.
one last thing, there's also error message improvements for data value schema. So you'll get some suggestions on if you use a key that's really similar to the key that was meant to be used, you'll get a suggestion asking, oh, did you mean this key? So some helpful improvements there too.
That's super exciting, Carrie. Congrats on all of that. So once that is cut, I will send it all out to the interwebs and let everybody know when it's ready. Okay, next up, project roadmap stuff. Anything to go over here? Any changes since, I guess, 2 weeks ago, since we canceled last week's meeting?
I think this roadmap has collected a little bit of dust and hasn't been updated in a little bit. So no real big changes to communicate here other than I think the releases that folks just mentioned. Some of these things are getting crossed off. Maybe one other thing to mention that's not captured on here yet is some of the Carvel India folks have been working on a kapp-controller CLI. And a first release of that, which would really be a CLI of feature parity of what kapp-controller already does, would be, I think, potentially released either this week or next week. So fairly soon. And yeah, we'll get this roadmap updated if folks would like to have any discussions or influence over the roadmap. You know, we'd always be happy to chat about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. So it sounds like this needs to be updated a bit. Is there an action item there that someone wants to take on to clean it up?
If I take an action item while I'm muted, does it still count? But yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, Carvel backlog. Is there anything that folks are working on that isn't mentioned in the project roadmap that should be shared with the community as a need to know? Any interesting?
There is one update I can give. We are also working on a few stories that are especially focusing on error message improvements. Like we are adding better display names in place of technical terms. And there are some documentation updates we are doing for better use of YTT. Also few bug fixes that are already been, one of them has already been taken care, that would be released soon, which is handling percentage sign for FMT. And also we would be adding more examples on YTT playground and also in documentation. So these are some things in flight.
Yeah, building off of that, there's some additional error message improvements in flight right now in YTT issue 521 of when there's a syntax error in a schema annotation, hopefully displaying that actual annotation in line with the node that it annotates so that you can see the syntax error.
Very cool. Thank you, Varsha and Garrett, for sharing that. Anything else that folks are working on? Once, twice.
Just one other thing to share, at least from the Carvel India folks. I know that they're also exploring the option of adding a kapp-controller GUI using Backstage. So I think it's still fairly early days, but they're exploring that, and that's just a really interesting initiative.
For us in image package, we already have the PR there, but some people have been asking for a way to for the users when they're using image package to select how many times they want to retry talking to the registry. Like if you have a very big bundle that you're trying to copy and it might fail during the process, and we'll give more control. So there will be a new flag on image package that will allow the users to select how many times they want image package to try to connect to the registry if something temporary fails. So that's something that some people asked, and it should be ready for the next release.
Sweet. Thanks, Joao. Okay, anything else? And there's any discussion topics that folks want to bring to the meeting right now that didn't make it to the agenda? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. If you are based in the United States and you do celebrate Thanksgiving, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving next week. Get stuffed with lots of turkey or whatever you eat on the holiday. And we're super thankful to have you part of our Carvel community. And we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting, which will be the first Thursday of December. With that, thanks everyone.